Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Why We're Fans. I'm Gennaro, and joining me always is my co-host Duran. Duran, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, man. I'm excited about this topic today because, the Lions have a lot going on right now. They got new quarterback coming in, got rid of their franchise quarterback, new coaching staff coming in, tons of draft capital. So, it's going to be a good topic, and I'm sure we'll cover everything today.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say you're excited because of that exciting Pro Bowl that happened this weekend. How about that, boys?
Yeah, I wasn't even on my radar.
Next. No.
As it's been the last, 5 years or something like that.
All right. Without further ado, let's get this started. Drinking on some Bale Brothers Naughty Hops. Duran, what you got?
Sonoma County staple, Russian River, Blind Pig, one of my favorites.
All right, with that first sip, let's bring on our guest for today. Like Duran alluded always, and you can see on his shirt that he is a Detroit Lions fan. We got Mr. Nick Faber. Nick, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, boys. I'm doing good. Just trying to, every day we're processing the Stafford trade. It's our hero. He was the man, the myth, the legend that was Stafford, and he's gone. It's hard to realize. I feel really out of the loop, though. You guys are drinking some badass drinks. I'm like, I got my wife Blue Moon Light Sky.
It's not bad.
But it's not bad. It tastes pretty good. It was just the only thing I had. But damn, you guys got some good drinks over there. We need to trade.
Yeah, we can send some your way, man. We can let you taste some of the Sonoma County beer. It's the best beer there is.
Wait, where's it at? Where's Sonoma County?
It's in California.
North of San Francisco.
North San Francisco.
Okay, right on. One of my wife's cousins just moved back from North California. He's back in Michigan. I said, that sucks to be you, man. We got a foot of snow right now.
Yeah, he's in the snow.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like you're the co-host of the podcast Lions Brawl. If you guys aren't listening to it, listen to it. Go and listen to it now.
Yes, please.
Got it. Ready to dig in, G?
I'm ready to dig in. Hey, man, if we get off topic, I'll just get back up and chew off a patella, man. I don't care. I'm ready to go like Motor City. Dan, baby.
Kneecaps are for dinner today, boys.
All right, Nick.
All right.
So tell us how it all started, man. How did the Lions get in your blood?
Whew, man, born with it. I'm pretty sure I was born in a Barry Sanders jersey. Came out, Barry Sanders jersey on, was just ready to run. Hurdle, chase chickens. I was ready to go. Mid-Michigan, born and raised.
Okay.
And Pops was the biggest Lions fan there was. I don't know why I just phrase it like he was, he's still alive. He's kicking. Is the biggest Lions fan, but was when I was born. And that was it. So, 30 years of adversity and heartache and torture, and every loss came with a spiel of how this just makes you tougher as a person, makes you better as a person. Team fans that have teams that win all the time don't know how to take losing in real life. And Dad always said, if you're a Lions fan, you'll overcome anything, because being a Lions fan will give you more gray hair in one sitting than 10 years of being a Packers fan. I can promise you that. So, just born and raised into it. Honestly, youngest pictures are me in Barry Sanders jersey, Lions helmet on, Luther Ellis jersey, Robert Porcher, Chris Spielman. The list goes on and on. Just picked it up at age 6. Started I don't know if you guys ever did this, but just started like writing out seasons as a 6-year-old, you know what I mean? Going through like putting all the stats down myself and going outside and playing by myself football and just like focusing on games and focusing on Lions and getting them to the Super Bowl, the promised land. Yep. And just, you know, and never faded. And by the time I, you know, turned 20, Stafford was here, and the Lions for a minute seemed like they were actually on the up and up, and we were going to break the Bobby Lane curse. And that just got me heavily invested into football, started writing for it, started podcasting for it. And, you know, through trial and error, basically, of many years of podcasting, found myself with the Lions Brawl, and we're growing every day. So that's pretty much how it started. And unfortunately, there's no real roller coaster, because you like get on the ride and then it just submerges you underwater, and you just basically have stayed underwater for 30 years. It's a fun ride. If you guys ever want to come be a Lions fan, it's just like probably the best part, you know, ride at Cedar Point. But
it'll definitely build some character, huh?
It sure does, boys. It sure does.
Now, I know you said your dad was a big fan. You grew up in the area. Is that where it began? Do you have a grandfather or someone else that was one more generation above you guys?
Actually, no. So dad grew up on a farm, and Grandpa Faber, as we call him, was not sports. Wouldn't let my dad play sports. He had to be up 4 a.m. to do his chores and then come home right after school and do his chores. And Dad always said, man, I could have been the best football player. And he never got the opportunity to play. So sports was not a big thing, actually, in the Faber household. For my dad growing up, he had 7 brothers and sisters, small Catholic, real rural, you know, family growing up. And on my mom's side, they all were sports fans, but honestly, like, my uncles were like 49ers fans. They're bandwagon fans is what they were. They never wanted to just like sit down and deal with being a Lions fan. And so my dad started it all. Like, honestly, you know, thanks to Dad, like I wouldn't be a Lions fan without him. I doubt I probably would be a bandwagon fan myself. I probably would be like a Brett Favre fan, which is like so unfortunate to say, but without the guidance of my dad leading me to this awful team, I would definitely have picked a different team. But I didn't. And as it comes, I'll just be, you know, it makes every year that, like, once we finally get that championship, man, once we get that Super Bowl, like, it's just gonna like erupt, like freaking, it's gonna be crazy, and I can't wait.
Well, credit to you for sticking with it, and it'll make that victory that much sweeter. And stick with it, man. Stick with it. Growing up in the area, did you have a chance to go to any of the home games or anything like that? We know that NFL games are very expensive to go to. Not everyone has that opportunity.
No, and that's a good question, boys. I love that. Let's dive into Nick Faber as a kid. No, I never went to a Lions game growing up. We didn't have a ton of money. We never went to Lions games. If anything, we catch a Tigers game. Buy $5 tickets. You know what I mean? Just get in. You don't even need seats. Standing room only. So those were the go-tos. Popped in for a Red Wings game once in a while, got into the Joe. Rarely went to Pistons games, but no, never went to a Lions game growing up. And it was unfortunate. We were very simple. Like, I never had been on an airplane until I was like 20, until I met my wife. We just drove everywhere. Like, we went to Florida, we drove. So we just never went to Lions. I went to Lions training camp. And it's like one of the best memories of all time is going to Lions training camp when I was 12 years old. And so Lions had just drafted Mike McMahon, rookie out of Rutgers. He actually led us, almost beat Brett Favre in a Thanksgiving game. Really cool. I actually got to interview him on the Lions Brawl, which to me, 17 years later, was a dream come true. Like, this was my idol. This was this was one of the reasons why I got into football along with my dad. But it was because, like, this guy, Mike McMahon. So he comes walking over after a training camp, and I asked him for an autograph, and he gives me the autograph, and like I get a picture with him, and it was just the ultimate experience. Being there, got to catch like punts. You know, they would shoot the punt from the jugger, and you'd catch it. I obviously didn't catch it at like 10 years old. I was dropping. I was looking bad out there, but it was just really fun. It was really cool, and the experience itself was amazing. Got to go to the Silver Dome a couple times to see high schools in the championship game, but no, never went for a Lions game. And it wasn't until I was 24, I guess, met my wife, and she at the time wasn't my wife, but had suggested like let's get the whole family, and I got 7 brothers and sisters as well. So
Wow.
it's just expensive to get everyone out to the Lions game. So we bought everyone tickets to the Lions game, and we went and played the Bears, and we got a win, and it was awesome. It was like the first time I went to a game. Me and my dad got drunker than skunks, and we were just falling over, like loving the game. And then fast forward one more year, we get tickets for everyone again. We go to the Thanksgiving game that Matt Prater with Darius Slay picks off Case Keenum with like 30 seconds to go. They were up by 1. Somehow he picks them off. We travel 10 yards. Matt Prater kicks a game-winning field goal to end the game, and the whole Ford Field just erupts. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Got to go to 2 more games after that. Giants, Tampa Bay, won both of them. I am 4-0 currently, going to Lions games. I'm trying not to risk it, so now I'm like really picking and choosing. Like not trying to pick and choose the games where I think we're gonna win. Not like, oh, we're playing the Raiders, I'm gonna go to that game. No. I need to like one of the games I went to that we won. So I guess I'm 5-0 because I went to the Patriots game on Sunday Night Football, Matt Patricia's revenge game against his team. Kerryon Johnson, first 100-yard rusher in Lions for 70 games.
Yeah.
That was a great game. We win that game. So I'm picking like I'm not gonna go to a game now until we make the playoffs. Then I'll keep that streak going for like I'm gonna like we made the playoffs, cool. I'm gonna go get us the victory myself. I'm gonna make an appearance at the game. I will personally and single-handedly lift us to the
put that team on your back there,
win.
Nick.
What?
Put that team on your back.
Put that team on my back, man. I'm wearing the jersey right now. Yeah. Put it on my back. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking you should go the opposite way, and they should just donate you some season tickets to keep the luck rolling.
To let it ride. Just let it go. They're like, all right, Nick, you go to every game. Yeah. Mathematically, we should be able to win a few of these.
Right. So you said that when you were born, you're pretty much born into a Barry Sanders jersey. So do you remember what brand that jersey was?
Ooh, God darn no. The cheapest jersey you could probably order. It was probably like a white shirt that my dad like colored blue, like outline 20 on it. Yeah. I was like, no, this is just what jerseys looked like when you were a kid. Don't even worry about it. And I was just like, all right, sounds good to me. No, I could not tell you what it was though. I could not. I couldn't even make a guess.
Yeah, we're always curious about that because you get some funky answers. Because I know when I was a kid, mine was like pro grid line. It was just like a white, it was a red mesh shirt, and it was painted 21, and it was a Deion Sanders jersey. So that's why I asked, because everyone's got
for the 49ers, Deion.
Yeah, 49ers.
Yeah. That's what I call it. That's awesome, dude. I love it. That's like exactly like what mine was, only blue. Yeah. They did. It was a blue shirt that they just like painted 20 on. It was like, all right, take it. It was simpler times back then. You know, we don't need like the stitched jerseys now. Like if I got like my daughter a Lions fake jersey, she'd just like rip it in half. Be like, I don't want this. But I do remember the starter logo jacket though. Detroit Lions. Okay. Blue, silver jacket, just puffy as hell. Yeah. Like you were walking into 6th grade, like you were a beast. You were like, yeah, boy, I'm about to be signed by the Lions because of this jacket right now. Yep. I look like Robert Porcher.
Yeah, those jackets are awesome. When they're brand new, they're like the best jackets you could have. When they're old and dirty, it's like the worst jacket you could put on.
There's like wrinkly. They're so wrinkly.
Exactly.
I'll see them at like garage sales, and you'll just be like, no.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to say I saw Big Sean wear in like the Cypher Detroit versus everybody. And I was like, dude, that's a dope starter jacket. Like, I wonder how much that costs now, because back then you can get them at like Walmart for like $10.
Hell yeah, you could. Yeah. And everyone like it was just like what you wore. I remember like no matter what team you were, Packers fans had the green and yellow, you know, like Cowboys fans, Niners fans, Lions fans, every team, man, they was just the thing. And now it's kind of switched into the hats, you know, like get your new draft hats. Every draft, you got to have your draft hat. And it's not as cool, you know, like that's not what's a draft hat going to do when it's negative 10 degrees outside and I'm out shoveling the goddamn snow, you know, but a starter jacket, at least that like, you know, held a purpose.
You can shovel your driveway in this cool draft hat.
Yeah, draft hats are the worst.
Draft hats are the worst, especially now that they're trying to incorporate like they're bringing in like the city flags, and next you're gonna have like the city animals and like the city flower and like the state flower, whatever. It's becoming too much. Like I get that they're trying to get creative, and I'm okay with that. But like
Keep it
sometimes
simple.
just less is more.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally agree. Well, it sounds like you definitely, it's in your blood. You grew up watching a lot of these games at home. That's the same way I did. Is there one person that you kind of watched every game with?
So it would definitely be like Dad. Like, and I hate to keep bringing it up, and I'll try to think kind of outside the box too.
No worries.
For sure,
Oh, good man. It's
Yeah,
authentic.
for sure. Then it would definitely be Pops. Like Pops and I just sitting down watching that game. And back in the day, especially because the Lions have always been really bad, I only had the attention span of about the first half, and then the second half. So I got into a fantasy football league when I was 8 years old. My dad started a fantasy football league in 1999, and I joined. And I became more invested in fantasy football than I did the Lions during the Matt Millen era, Joey Harrington and John Kitna. Then we went 0-16. Throughout that whole era, really, it was like the first half would be us watching the Lions, and the second half of me just like not even caring about us losing 31-10, but just waiting for the updates and like being like, oh, Jamal Lewis ran an 80-yard touchdown. You'd be like, oh yeah, Jamal Lewis, like Shannon Sharp for the Ravens caught a touchdown. You're like, oh good, I started him this week. So it was like it's a different mindset growing up watching the Lions, because unless you are like the most patient kid in the world, sitting and watching your team crush your heart every week gets super tiring. It's just now I'm older. I got a daughter. I got more patience. Like I can sit there and watch us get our asses whooped by the Bucks 46-6. Like I can watch that whole game on a Saturday. It doesn't bother me any bit. But as a kid, you couldn't do that. You really couldn't. So that like it was always fun watching it with Dad. But there weren't any like memories. It was just like me and Dad jumping up and like arms like going like we won. Yeah. Like it was like if we did, it was like week 3 and we weren't 0-3 that year. We were like, all right, we won a game, baby. Charlie Batch, Super Bowl bound. Here we go. And that's what you say if you're a Lions fan. After every win, you immediately, and right as the clock hits 0-0, you say, well, we are Super Bowl bound. Probably we could make the Super Bowl this year. Like you see that we just won a game. So watch out, everyone.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Exactly, man. And they always let you down, but you know, every 4 weeks they come back and they totally redeem themselves, and, and you're just happy. So no, watch it, Dad. Other than that, but what I am trying to do, actually, I'm going to take this question one step farther, is try to implement more memories like I had with my dad, but with my daughter now. Being the father of a 5-year-old girl who we are seeing, like it's becoming more, I don't want to say the word okay, but it is like okay that women are in football, and it's awesome. And it's like, okay, that gives me hope that Juliana can get in. She's like saying like, I want to play. And I'm like, we can play flag football, we can play sports, but if anything, just think about like journalism. Like you can get into writing, you can get into podcasting, get into all this stuff. And if you sit down right now and watch it, it'll be these kind of podcasts that you'll just have like the greatest memory talking about it. And the time will fly by because you're just having so much fun. And so I as much as Dad was the person I would sit there and watch with, I'm also now trying to be my dad and be the dad that sits down and is known for, every Sunday, Dad's going to watch the Lions. It's like, yes, I am.
Yeah, man, you're definitely a girl dad. That's awesome. And I think like, yeah, it's okay, but also it's becoming more the normal. Like you see a whole bunch of women out in the journalism, and it's awesome. You got like, name 2 off the top of my head, MJ Acosta and Mina Kimes. I mean, they're both kicking ass at what they're doing, and you know they're definitely doing a great job. And you got Katie Nolan too, who's funny as shit.
Absolutely.
And can talk sports with the best of them. So
Kay Adams, another one who just does unbelievable stuff on GMFB. Like it's, and you're right. And that was I couldn't think of the perfect. I didn't want to say okay, but that's more than normal, and that's awesome. That is awesome. Let's go.
So on game day, I know I come from a baseball background, so I have like I'm super superstitious. So I have my game day superstition, or like normal thing that I do, a tradition as well. Do you have one of those?
No, because in 30 years of trying to find a superstition that works at least 3 out of 10 times, I have failed and fallen short on every single try.
That's the best answer we've had.
Oh hell yeah,
That's truthful.
That's a
Oh
good
my
one,
God.
Props, man.
I have not washed my socks, and not washed
Yeah.
my underwear, not washed
Yeah.
my jersey, not washed.
Yeah.
No, for a long time, I didn't wash my Calvin Johnson black jersey, but not so much because of superstition, just because I didn't want to wash that thing and have like the washer or dryer like put a hole in it or something.
Exactly.
Like I was just, I like couldn't. That was my superstition. Was like this washer dryer will fuck up my beautiful jersey. But no superstitions. Basically, but I will tell you what is becoming a tradition is getting my daughter down for a nap at 1 o'clock every day. So then she can at least, if she's gonna be, so here's my theory. I told you, kids only have the attention span for about half a game, and if she sleeps through the boring first half and is awake for the third and fourth quarter, oh man, like I wish. I was always too excited because we had to wait. You know, I know you're in San Francisco, so you get Pacific time. Are you both in Pacific time?
Yep.
You bastards, dude. I got to wait till 1 o'clock to watch this goddamn football game. After watching 7 hours of pregame, I'm already ready to take a nap by the time I'm 4 beers in, a couple other things in we won't talk about, and I'm ready to take a nap. I'm ready to get like my master's nap in. But you gotta stay up. But so if I'm getting my daughter down sleeping at 1 o'clock, get her up at 2:30, right as halftime's ending, wake up, eat a little bit during the third quarter, fourth quarter. We're just tackling, we're roughhousing, we're screaming. And I mean that happens like 3 times a season because the rest of the time we're just like crying and sad. But those 3 good times, man, it's good times.
I bet.
Do you got anything else
on this section?
No, man, I'm ready to move to the next section, man, for sure.
All right. Well, you've already mentioned sounds like a great jersey collection of some of your favorite players and stuff, but we want to take a guess about your all-time favorite Lion. G, you want to take a shot first?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Drew Stanton for sure. No, I was kidding. I'm going to go with one of my favorites is actually Calvin Johnson. It's either him or Javid Best for me, only because I feel like Javid Best didn't really get his whole chance, but definitely I think it's Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the best running back of all time, Mr. Barry Sanders.
Oh, man, boys. I love it. First and foremost,
now you got to choose.
Drew Stanton is one of my favorite players of all time because I'm a huge Michigan State boy. And Drew Stanton from Michigan State, one of the best gifts ever is him running down the sideline in Arizona, just pumping his fist, and he's sprinting down the field. And it's like the best gif of all time. It was real popular like 5 years
ago. He's actually on the sideline. He's not running.
On the side.
Yeah,
he's on the bench. But he is super jacked and he's running. Great. I love Drew Stanton.
He's like Puff Daddy in every music video, man. Just like
he's the hype man. The ultimate one too.
Ultimate hype man.
I loved him. If like my favorite Lions, and I'll break it down to 2 different ones because you have the main Lions. You have your Calvin, your Barry, your Stafford. Of those 3, Barry, nostalgic. I did love Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, my favorite jersey, that black one, like I said. But Barry that's nostalgic. That's it. That's like
the standard.
Godfather.
It's the Godfather.
Exactly.
The Godfather. It just is. It's Barry, and now he's back with the team, helping out. It's just awesome. I love Barry.
Wait, what is he doing with the team? I didn't know about that.
He's in special relations with like Chris Spielman. He's basically like, so Chris Spielman and Barry came together is what I was just about to say. Not that they're doing anything of the same in the front office. Chris Spielman's obviously in the GM side. Barry's more in like PR side. So
which is a huge jump from what it used to be. It used to be nowhere near.
Exactly. And plus now, it just a couple hours ago broke, Dave Burkett, beat writer for the Lions, just broke that Calvin Johnson and the Lions may be mending fences here very shortly, hopefully within the next few months. And what this does, and I actually just said this on my podcast that's just about to drop tonight or tomorrow morning, this is what I said about this real quick. A whole tangent. Go ahead. Having Calvin and Barry and Spielman on the team and seeing how we did Stafford good is imperative when it comes to getting free agents. Free agents used to look at Detroit and think that this is people left Detroit. Darius Slay, Quandre Diggs, DeAndre Levy, Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, guys, and they would swear off Detroit. They would never even have any thought of anything about the organization. But now we've moved on from William Ford and Martha Ford, and now we're in Sheila Ford era, and it's just completely different. She's doing everything she can to show that Detroit loves its players, which before it used to be, here's your contract, do what you're supposed to do. If you're not, get out.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. We do not
And
care
pay
about
us
you
back
after.
our money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give us exactly.
Yeah.
So we're like trending in a great way. So it's great to see Barry back in the PR. Hopefully we can get Calvin. Like the day Calvin comes back to Ford Field, the stadium will erupt. Like
that'll be
outstanding. But then to cycle it all back around to my favorite Lions player is a guy I actually mentioned earlier, and it was a guy I got to interview 17 years after getting his autograph, Mike McMahon. For anyone who doesn't know who he is a quick starter in the Lions, years of quarterback starters, and was super Brett Favre-ish gunslinger, used his legs. Like I said, from Rutgers, really, really, really cool guy. If you go to the Lions Brawl and go like the 10th episode that we ever did, it's an interview with Mike McMahon, and he talks about like just getting on the golf course with Lawrence Taylor and Michael Jordan and betting like $20,000 a hole and like taking all Jordan's money and like it just like these great stories for that. And then he goes and he tells you like he still remembers like the exact play, which is this huge like swing divot, X cross, left, right, up, jump, 3, cross B, flippity floppity floopity flew. And it's like, okay, how the hell do you remember this? And he just brings it all. And he's like, yeah, and I had David Sloan running across the middle, Corey Schlesinger running a curl on the left. And to win the game, I went to hit Schlesinger, but I accidentally oversailed and Sloan had a chance. And he's just like I had to go back and I was watching this film and I was going to try to like call him out in a few things and be like, oh, well, do you remember who you threw it to? And do you remember this? And he was all on top of his game. An amazing interview, an amazing person, hilarious, had more than enough time for us. He wasn't in it. Like we interviewed Joseph Fourier, who was like, you got 30 minutes. And then once 30 minutes hit, we were mid-conversation, done. And it was like, all right, that kind of stinks, but you're still, it happens, like whatever. I don't care. I'm not mad about that, but I'm not trying to drag on that. I'm just saying like Mike McMahon was like hour and 10 minutes in, was like, I'll go for another couple hours, boys. And we're like, no. Like, we appreciate it. We'll save it for the next time. Yeah. But like, just a great guy. Again, nostalgic. My first like Lions memory of being at the Lions facility, which again was in training camp. I got his autograph, and he was the guy. I had this, the rookie card holographic in the little sleeve, like freaking taped to my chest, probably like just trying to pretend like people were trying to steal it. And I was like, not today, man. This is my Mike McMahon rookie card. And I got it signed, and I got a picture with him, and I was with like my cousin, my best friend, and like my dad and my uncle. Just an amazing experience, and basically just because of that nostalgic effect, he has my heart. Like he has, and again, that's why I broke it down too, because like Barry Sanders, if I said Mike McMahon, people would be like, "You're fucking high," and I'm like, "Well, listen, a little bit, but don't worry." And then I would say if Mike McMahon is the man, like he's the GOAT in my mind.
Yeah. And that's why we bring on people like you to share these stories, because I didn't know who Mike McMahon was.
5th round draft pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that's a great story. And like you said, it's more of kind of like a sentimental memory type thing that you just think back to as when you're a kid. I mean, I'm sure many people don't know him. He had his career start record is 3-11. But
that's pretty good for the Lions. Hey, wait a minute, that's got to be like top 10 in winning percentage. I'm pretty sure.
But it's just one of those things. But if we could bring it back a little bit, I want to talk. We could talk a little bit about Barry, a little bit about Calvin. Just a couple of the basic questions that I always ask about guys like that. First of all, Barry Sanders, Hall of Famer, MVP, Rookie of the Year, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, countless Pro Bowls, All-Pro, all that stuff. So we know Barry Sanders. He leads Lions history in rushing yards, of course. And every year he had at least 1,300 yards. That's passing and receiving combined. And that includes 2 2,000-yard seasons. So Barry Sanders, we all know he's pretty much the Jerry Rice of running backs. In my book, he is. But if you had to think back to Barry Sanders' career, he's Batman. Who would you go with? Robin? I actually had a hard time thinking about this one today. I couldn't think of one guy that was kind of the Rock there with Barry, but I do have one guy in mind, but I want to hear yours.
Before you
saying,
say
like-
that, man, I gotta say that's strong because coming from a Cowboys fan who grew up watching Emmett, loved
Oh,
Emmett,
yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
Barry is the best running back in the game. That says a lot. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I interrupted you. I'm so sorry, but man, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
And my franchise had a ton of great running backs, but yeah, Barry Sanders, top running back for sure. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Detroit. But go ahead, Nick.
Emmett Smith. I had just gotten to a bit, so I went down to Mobile for the Senior Bowl.
That's
and,
a big debate. Yeah.
Emmett Smith.
Yeah.
I'll quickly say this and move on, and I'm just gonna ruffle your feathers real quick, and then
Let's
not
hear it.
even let you rebuttal because I'm just gonna try to talk right over it and move on. Emmett Smith reminds me a little bit of like Frank Gore. He gets a lot of credibility because he had a lot of longevity.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Frank Gore shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, and Emmett Smith is on the verge because of longevity for running back status, that doesn't sell me. And I know it's a hot take, it's a bold take. I just can't buy into longevity. Like at no point was Emmett Smith the best running back in the NFL. At no point in his career. He's got Super Bowls because he had a great team around him, great coaching.
Frank Gore
Respectfully,
doesn't.
again, we shouldn't get into this debate right now.
Yeah,
I appreciate all the kind words of Barry Sanders. In
Maybe
my-
after the
next
podcast.
episode.
after the pod, we'll get into a long, heated conversation about it, and I'm more than okay with that.
We'll join the podcast to argue with you on your Lions brawl.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. We'll have a whole show dedicated to it. And we'll just put it on the Lions brawl. Barry Sanders is the GOAT. And to be honest, what's the question? I forgot what the question was.
If Barry Sanders was Batman, who is
Oh
Robin?
my God, who is Robin? So you mean like in his playing time, like, right? You're saying like he was the Batman of the Lions, and the Robin would be.
If Jerry Rice was Batman, Joe Montana was Robin, or vice versa, however who was the guy that kind of, this is a team sport. No one really does it all on their own. Barry Sanders was one of those guys that kind of did it all on his own. So I kind of want to know who you have here.
It's like, first of all, I don't want to call anyone a Robin because I just feel like I'm totally like throwing an insult at him. But
I
that's
just called
not...
Joe Montana Robin.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you'd like to say he was anchored and his sidekick was his defense because that allowed the Lions to run a lot, and Chris Spielman would be that Robin. But I would not fault anyone for saying a Herman Moore. Like, so you had like the two offensive skill players. Those would be my two Robin choices. But my gut and my instinct was Chris Spielman as Robin. I hate to say that, but that's who I'm going with.
One name could I just throw out there? Lomas Brown, his tackle.
Love him. Yeah, so, and that's a really good one because they were like connected. You know what I mean? They were compatible more so than that's a really good one. And I did think about Lomas Brown, but I tried to think about it too much. That's a really good pick. I agree with Lomas Brown. Got his autograph. Not out here, but on Lions football, I love me some Lomas Brown. Another guy who just stayed near and dear to Detroit, like post-career, which is awesome.
G, you got anything? I got a couple more. I just want to give you the opportunity.
No, go ahead. I mean, he mentioned actually a guy we were talking about off air before you got on is Robert Prochet, and you mentioned how you look like him, how big you were, and Duran was going over his stats and how he still holds the sack record like by a long shot. That I didn't know that, being that you guys had Vanderbosch and Averill, man. But
Prochet was the man. Him and Luther Ellis combined, it was an unstoppable force. And then right after Prochet left, about 1 or 2 years later, we brought in big old Sean Rogers. And like our defensive line was Texas. Like something for a minute, but
it's because like when you said like his Robin was like the defense, and that's immediately who I thought of when I was like looking it up, and I was like, yeah, damn it, he's right. His defense was his Robin, which is
because they allowed him to not be down 30-10 every game, where they had to just get Barry Sanders out of the picture.
I mean, I went back. I was watching. I watched Barry Sanders top 10 play. You get in those loopholes. I did the same thing with Calvin Johnson. But when I was watching Barry Sanders do all his jukes and stuff, and I even went back to another game where Reggie Bush was running against the Cowboys, and it kind of made me think of something. Whenever someone has like a really good juke or shakes a lot of guys, they always say like, oh, it looks like Barry Sanders out there. That's actually it. That's a quote from John Madden. Looks like Barry Sanders out there. And to me, that kind of relates when people do the shot, they hit a good shot and they say Kobe. It's kind of like the same thing when they see one guy, you know,
like Barry.
Looks like Barry out there. He just pulled a Barry Sanders. And that just shows you how much of an impact these guys, even though Barry, never won a Super Bowl or anything like that. But man, he had such an impact and people really just respected his game all around.
And though he never won a Super Bowl, he basically did win the Lions Super Bowl, which is our one playoff win. Mm-hmm. And that was like on the back of Barry putting up 200 plus yards, a couple big touchdowns from, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Eric Kramer? Was that our quarterback? I can't remember. Regardless, he won the Lions our Super Bowl, and that is by beating your beloved Dallas Cowboys for a victory. It seems like the only time the Lions ever do anything good, unfortunately, it's against the Cowboys. It's like, you have the fake spike from Matthew Stafford, the Calvin Johnson touchdown above three people, the Barry Sanders just juking him left and right. Our one playoff win. Like, man, we almost had 2 playoff wins too against the Cowboys. Woo-hoo! They didn't pick up that damn flag, boys. We'd have 2.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I have that, but I think Calvin Johnson has like a 2. I might even say a 300-yard game against the Cow. It's something
300.
Crazy.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Yep.
Yeah, that's
something ridiculous.
Yeah. So when Barry Sanders leaves, Calvin Johnson leaves. I mean, this is kind of like a theme for you guys of Hall of Fame player type players retiring a little bit early, and and they don't do the Brett Favre pump fake where they're like, I'm retiring until you release me, then I'm bringing it back. Do you think these guys were really just done with the game, or unfortunately do you think the Lions kind of took a toll on them?
Oh, the Lions took a toll on him. Like I said before, Sheila Ford Hamp, we had some of the worst owners in the history of sports, in my opinion. It just was never right, and it stinks. It's a bummer, but hopefully we're moving forward from it. I'm hoping at least. And I think we did. We're starting it by getting Stafford out. I believe William Clay Ford would have sat there and held on to Matthew Stafford regardless, because he knew Stafford would play no matter where he played. Yeah. Stafford's a gamer. He's going to go out there and play no matter what. Stafford said he wanted out, and I bet William Ford would not have allowed it. But Sheila Ford Hamp said, okay, I've learned from my parents' mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what parents are there for, to show you the mistakes not to make when you get older. And it takes a long time for you to see that, but you do see it, ultimately. And I think Sheila Ford Hamp saw it, was like, we're not going to do that. Stafford, you go to a team that could potentially win you a Super Bowl. It'll crush our hearts to see you win a Super Bowl outside of Detroit, but at the same time, we'll be extremely happy for you. Very similar to Justin Verlander. It's life. Move forward. But I do think it was the Lions ultimately that had Barry retire early, that had Calvin retire early, and I think both of them would have played longer if William Clay would have just said, "Okay, we'll release you, we'll trade you, we'll let you go." Chase that ring, you know what I mean? But he just wouldn't. But I don't have any, that's just hearsay. That's just what I think.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's it for me, G. Ready to move on?
All right. So we're not going to guess here. We actually want to hear your favorite coach of the franchise.
There's not many to choose from, boys.
Actually, there's a lot to choose from, but
there's too many to choose from. That's good. You're right. One coach had a winning record, Jim Caldwell, I believe. Maybe 2. Maybe Wayne Fontes is in there. Yeah, Wayne Fontes would. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Jim Caldwell does have the best of recent, not in the 60s, 50s. A recent best winning percentage. 2 playoff appearances in 4 years, and only had 1 losing season in between that. But go ahead.
And we thought Matt Patricia would be better. God damn. I loved me some Wayne Fontes. Wayne Fontes was the best coach. I'm pretty sure he got caught with a couple pounds of coke on him. Like he was Cocaine Wayne. Like that was his nickname, was Cocaine Wayne. So I mean, like, how can you not be 90s, like just blue freaking collar Detroit, Michigan freaking coach. Like he embodied Detroit, and he was the embodiment of Detroit, whatever that term is. He was awesome. Past that, I always loved Mooch. I was a huge Steve Mariucci fan. Okay. Being from Michigan, being from northern Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, I loved me some Mooch. I was super excited when we brought him in. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to really help our team out, but unfortunately, he just had to coincide with the Matt Millen era, which no coach could do anything with. Yeah. And then I loved me Jim Schwartz, and I'll tell you why I love Jim Schwartz, because the day John Harbaugh came up to him and shook his hand a little too hard after a victory, Schwartz took no shit from him, and he ran after him 70 yards down the field and had to confront him. And I was waiting for a fight, and I wish there would have been a fight, but it was just really cool. And so I always loved Jim Schwartz. I love his passion. He just actually took a step away from the NFL, and I'm hoping in due time we could bring him back as a defensive coordinator or a defensive position coach, because I really do like him. Not that he probably would ever take a job back in Detroit, but I don't know. I liked him a lot. And then complete opposite, Matt Patricia is the worst coach to ever set foot on the earth, on this planet, in the universe, in the Marvel universe, in every galaxy, like whatever we want to talk about. Matt Patricia is the worst.
Now, do you think the Matt Patricia thing is a little bit of recency bias, because you guys did have Rod Marinelli, who I liked as a defensive coordinator, just personality-wise and stuff, but he did have the winless season with you guys as the head coach.
Yes, and before Matt Patricia, I would have said Rod Marinelli, absolutely. But I'm pretty sure 4 years.
Yeah.
And like a way better winning percent, not a way better, but a better winning percentage, even with an 0-16 season than Matt Patricia. Plus, am I wrong on that?
You are, but if you remove that one season, you would be correct.
That 0-16 really did bring him down, huh?
Yeah, that one season really fucked him over. But the 2 seasons before that,
not by much though.
7-9, 3-13, and then the 0-16. But
we were going on a slippery slope with him. Yeah. But regardless, Matt Patricia just shuffled out the worst defense in NFL history.
Yep.
And he was a defensive guru.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Yep. He was the man.
I remember. Yeah.
He was the one man who called the best play in Super Bowl history, apparently. His words. I don't know. Recency bias or not, Matt Patricia is the worst coach to ever set foot in any sporting event.
Okay.
I honestly thought your favorite coach was going to be Dan Campbell because of that press conference.
I love me some Dan. I got to see it on paper. He's close, though, right now, man. He's going to get up. He's going to knock the teeth out. He's going to bite a couple kneecaps off. Yep. I love me some Dan Campbell. Here's the thing about Dan Campbell, though. Man, I don't have faith anymore as a Lions fan. So I have no faith right now. I am only here so I don't get fined. No, I'm just here to basically see how this turns out on the field, because it seems like since I've, in the 30 years of my existence on this planet, we have won like the off-season title a few times. Like we always like get these great off-season moves, these great like this is going to work out perfect. And then we poop the bed. So I don't know. Let's see if Dan Campbell brings in everybody. We're bringing in all these nostalgic guys, Mark Brunell, Aaron Glenn, Deuce Staley. Like we all remember watching these guys play football, and now they're coaching the Lions.
Yep.
It's crazy to me.
I'm still waiting for them to call up like all kinds of ex-NFL players. It's like I'm waiting for them to be like our linebackers coach is Bill Romanowski. I'm like, hey, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Like Byron Leftwich, he's got to be leaving Tampa Bay to come over to Detroit. Like we're getting everyone.
Yeah.
If you've ever played in the NFL, get ready to be a head coach of the Lions or a coach with the Lions.
Well, anything else for coaches?
Nothing for coaches. Yeah. You already answered it with Matt Patricia being the worst coach. I mean, I would have agreed for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, man, let's move on, man. Next section. Let's go, boys.
Next section we got here is your first ever Lions memory. I mean, just me growing up, Barry Sanders definitely is at the top of that list. Charlie Batch, you mentioned him a little bit earlier too, but those are the two staple like personality guys that I remember there. And then as far as draft wise, I definitely remember the Sean Rogers 350-pound defensive linemen from Texas. We've kind of covered all those guys already, but what's yours?
All right. So okay, so my first memory ever, ever memory, which is super random, and we'll get into a couple more, but first ever memory, I just remember sitting on my couch for a preseason game, and it's got to be 95 or 96, and just seeing the Lions versus the Falcons, the Dirty Bird. Jamal Anderson had just got drafted, I believe, or was maybe 1 year in the league. And it was just I only remember I remember the opening credits and the old school retro Lions, Falcons, 0-0 preseason. It was really cool. I remember that. And then the first memory I have an event that happened with the Lions is in 99. We were just about to make the playoffs. All we had to do was win a game, and Chicago came in. Paul Ettinger, Michigan State kicker, came out, and he but Paul Ettinger would stand with his back to the field goal post.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And would spin around and then run and kick it.
Yeah,
that kick knocked us out of the playoffs, which was terrible.
Oh.
And then I believe in 2001, Bobby Ross, we were in Chicago, got into overtime, won the coin toss, and Bobby Ross just elected to take the wind, to give Chicago the ball first, because we took the wind instead of deciding to kick or receive. And they chose to receive. They got the ball. They went down and kicked the field goal and beat us. And it was oh, my phone just fell. But it was the most embarrassing thing ever. It was just why would you even do that?
Yeah.
Draft pick wise, my freaking the worst memory, and my first memory was sitting there looking at us drafting Terry Fair. And I believe 98. And I drafted Terry, and we drafted Terry Fair, and I'm looking, and all I wanted. Can you guys name who I wanted? Do you guys know who I'm about to say?
I have no clue.
Randy Moss, one pick after Terry Fair to the Vikings. And I sat there, loved wide receivers. Obviously, I was a little 8-year-old, 7-year-old kid, so I wanted the wide receiver. And we probably had Herman Moore, Johnny Morton. We didn't even need a wide receiver in any way, but I still wanted Randy Moss. And still to this day, I remember just watching the draft, Mel Kiper, maybe it wasn't even ESPN, honestly. Could have been ABC or something. I don't remember what I was watching on. But I just remember drafting Terry Fair and me being fudge, I wanted Randy Moss. And then just that year, Randy Moss just blew up 1,300 yards. And I was you're kidding me, dude.
Yeah, Randy Moss went fucking crazy, man. You see him against, I remember his first game against Dallas, that revenge game.
Oh,
everything happens against Dallas.
Yep.
No, and then we had to see him twice a year for a while. Him and Chris Carter teamed up. It was just a shit show. And we had Terry Fair. So it was all right, we're going to draft Terry Fair. You're going to draft Randy Moss. Let's see who wins in one-on-one battles for the next 4 years. And I can assure you it was Randy Moss.
Yeah. I'm looking at that draft right now, man. This first round is filled with studs. I mean, it was the Ryan Leaf versus Peyton Manning draft. Charles Woodson ended up going fourth. Kyle Turley, the longtime offensive lineman for New Orleans, went seventh. Fred Taylor, Keith Brooking, Takeo Spikes, Kevin Dyson. Then it falls down to Terry Fair, who you just mentioned. Right after that, Randy Moss, Alan Faneca, R.W. McCorders. I mean, that's right there is about 15 guys in the first round that were legitimate players in the NFL.
And we took Terry Fair.
And you took Terry Fair.
We took Terry Fair.
Yeah.
Hines Ward came out of that draft too, didn't he?
He might have. I know he might have been a little bit. Yeah, he wasn't a first rounder type guy.
I know he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's always he always holds a special place in my heart because the crackback blocks are always the best. But
he seemed really Detroitish. He seemed really blue collar. He just went to work every day. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Him and Palomalu, they were just so fun on the same team together.
Fuck.
Yep. Hines Ward was in the third round.
Yes. Okay.
Third round of that one.
That's my guy.
Right. Memory isn't slipping yet, boys.
Yeah. Thank you, Sports Football Reference. That's all I have to say. They got everything on here. So yeah. So we just covered your first memory. You don't have a Super Bowl. That's usually everyone's answer when I ask this question. But do you have a favorite overall Lions memory?
This is the worst question to ask any Lions fan. We're that 1 week 6 win. God damn this phone.
I think there's still off the top, I think it's like 12, 11 teams in the NFL that still don't have a Super Bowl. So
at least we're not the last. You know, we're not the only one. But I think only like 4 or 5 of them have never had a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah,
we're one of them.
You guys are one of them. Yeah.
Like the Texans, and like they've been around since like 2002.
Yeah.
Like, well, we've
Jaguars.
Been around since 1950. They were around since like 96. You're like, so basically any team that was made after 1990 and the Lions. Favorite memory of the Lions? It's such a terrible question to ask. Like, honestly, like
I'm sorry.
There's the Calvin Johnson, when Calvin Johnson broke the record for most receiving yards in a season. That was really cool. Matthew Stafford threw for 5,000 yards once. That was really cool. But that's like season stuff. You know what I mean? Like game wise, like you remember like okay, probably the best memory is like, and especially because like I am, only 30. I wasn't fully invested in the Barry Sanders era as much as I loved him and have gone back and watched film, but like watching football, and after our 0-16 season, then after like a 1-15 season, Matthew Stafford broke his shoulder on a hit. We were down by
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. So we get up there and he comes in after being pulled out. His arm is out of socket. He gets the ball, one hand throws it to Pettigrew. We get the win. Like it just like it showed that he's going to be the one to get us to the Super Bowl. Obviously, it didn't happen. But that memory was amazing. Other than that, like Jim Schwartz attacking Jim Harbaugh, like that might be one of the best memories in Lions history. Like the win against the Cowboys when I was 1 when that happened, so I don't remember it that well.
For additional 4-pack of Sonoma County beer, who was his backup quarterback that game?
Dante Culpepper.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude.
I was asking somebody and they didn't know that. They're like, oh yeah, I don't know. I think it was like Charlie Batch. Like, no, it's actually Dante Culpepper.
No, Dante Culpepper. What a terrible pick that was, because the year before when we went, or 2 years before we went 0-16, maybe it was the year before. Now I'm starting to, I think that game was that got us out of it. But anyways, when we went 0-16, we had John Kitna to start the year, and he got injured, quote unquote, but it was a front office battle. So John Kitna leaves this for the season. They bring in Dante Culpepper, Dan Orlovsky, and I believe Mike there was one other quarterback, and I can't remember who it was, but just terrible quarterbacks. And when we signed Dante Culpepper, he came, and he was so fat. And I'm sorry to say that. Like, I know it's not the most, 2021 term anymore, but dude was just dude wasn't, I don't know if you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but in an episode in, season 1, they try to have Donovan McNabb come to, their practice, and they're trying to be the invincible and bring a guy on, and they bring Donovan McNabb, and he just gets out eating a McDonald's, and he's super big, and it's not Donovan McNabb, and they're like, that's what it was. It was like, that's not Dante Culpepper. Like, I watched Dante Culpepper rip up Detroit for a few years. Like, this isn't Dante Culpepper. Something's going on here. And that's probably why Stafford didn't want him to go in the game. He was like, fuck anyone else. Dan Orlovsky, we probably had a chance to win that game without Stafford. But he looked over there, saw Dante Culpepper, was like, I'm better with one arm than he is with two. So put me back in, boys.
Yeah. That's tough. Yes. Yeah. I think is that it for you, G, in this section?
That's it for me. I don't know.
I want to know your guys' favorite memories of the Lions. Do you guys even have a memory of the Lions?
I do, and I think it's kind of going to lead into this next section for me. And the playoff no PI call, Pettigrew getting the face guard. I think is Anthony Hitchens. Yeah. So Cowboys beating you guys. That was one of them. There was actually a flag on the play, and they picked it up and put it back in their pocket.
Yeah, it was terrible. That was one of the most crushing losses I've ever witnessed as a sports fan. And with Detroit, I've seen a lot. I saw us lose Game 6. We should have won against San Antonio Spurs as a Pistons fan. I saw us lose Game 7 to the Pittsburgh Penguins as a Wings fan. I saw us lose Game 163 to the Twins as a Tigers fan. The Lions had some pretty terrible losses, but nothing that really ever stuck out. But it was this year. We had a top 5 defense. We had a rushing game that couldn't be stopped. We had Matthew Stafford. We had all this, like, all we needed was a first down to win this game. And honestly, we needed, like even with that penalty, we still got the ball back with 60 seconds to go. We had the opportunity. And this is what everyone always is like, but Matthew, it's not quarterback wins type of league. Like, I've kind of been like, before I've said Matthew Stafford, it was time to go. And ultimately it's like, look, we had a chance to win that game, and great quarterbacks would go out and win that game. And Matthew Stafford didn't. Now that flag being picked up was the most biggest BS call I've ever seen, especially because just a few days before, with Jerry Jones's son was on the plane with the goddamn referee himself.
I think it was a bus. They were like partying on a bus.
My apologies. But he knows, we know, we all know. There was probably a couple Benjamins.
I smell bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
dude.
also that same exact play, Des Bryant runs out on the field with no helmet, yelling at
helmet on, runs on the field.
Then they don't throw a flag on that. Yeah.
You guys got what you deserved.
I know.
But then it was like to the Packers. Then it was like good for Romo though, honestly. Like, I love me some Tony Romo. Like, I always had. He won me a fantasy championship, so he always had a near and dear place to my heart. And now seeing him as an announcer, it's just like, Romo's a GOAT. Like, he is the man. He's the best announcer the NFL has ever thought about having after John Madden. But like, so good for him to get a playoff win. Like, I was happy for that. Yeah. But then, like, and then like the next week we see karma. Des Bryant reaches out, doesn't make the catch, and you're like, screw you, fuck you, Cowboys. But it's against the Packers, and you're like, fuck the Packers. I don't want them to win. Like, it wasn't. I would have rather just saw the Cowboys win and won the Super Bowl that year, so I could have at least said it was fate. You know what I mean? Like, the year before, the last time before that, the Lions that were in the playoffs, we lost to the Saints. During the Bounty Gate, they went and won the Super Bowl. But it was like, okay, well, whatever. We lost to the team that won the Super Bowl. If you're gonna lose to anyone, it should be the team that never loses in the playoffs. Yeah, we just lost to the Cowboys, who freaking got beat by the Packers. Oh my God, that was.
Yeah, I think these worst memories. I mean, we can go on for a minute. You guys have 8 straight wild card game losses in the playoffs, which, those are always, that's the dice roll where you're like, this could be our year. I mean, if we get on a little hot streak here, we can make it in. And, those are just heartbreaking losses in the playoffs. You don't forget those very often.
Yeah, for sure. If we were talking about our first memory, not our first memories, our favorite memories, is definitely that Stafford that we just talked about, him getting blown up off him trying to extend a play.
Oh, yeah.
Hurts his shoulder, comes back and does it and says, you know what, fuck you, Dante Culpepper. They called timeout. I'm back in.
No, that's a classic NFL films. They're going to show that forever.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot more of bad memories to talk about. We can talk about all the fake penalties that the Packers get against us. We talk about Golden Tate coming up half an inch away from the end zone against the Falcons and losing. Oh, there's too many of those. Yeah. The one, the Seattle Seahawks is batting the ball out of the end zone, like completely illegal, with the referee just staring at it. I don't see anything. He's literally like staring at it. It's like, are you fucking high right now? Come on.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the brighter days ahead of you guys. Your future expectations. Right now, you guys are standing with the number 7 overall pick. You have 5 picks in the top 102. I just wanted to throw that in there, which means you guys have a nice bit of draft capital this year. That's not counting your future stuff with the Stafford trade and things like that. But if there was one direction you guys could go with this number 7 pick, do you want to go quarterback? Maybe one will fall to you. I don't think that'll happen. A wide receiver, you guys have a lot of wide receivers about to leave, or, good old pass rush or something. What would you like to do there?
Well, no matter what, I can assure you that we'll screw it up. So just, I would always want to be the team drafting right after the Lions. Like, we draft Eric Ebron, and then Odell Beckham Jr. goes, then like JJ Watt, and then like Aaron Donald. And you're like, okay, cool. And like, we draft Terry Fair, and then it's like, anyway, it's always good to be the team right after the Lions, I think. We can't go quarterback right now. Goff didn't look great. I get it, but ultimately he's not a horrible quarterback. He can get the job done in short yardage. We're going to go. It's going to be like, Lions fans aren't going to be able to adjust from like Matthew Stafford, who was 3rd in the league in air yards, to Jared Goff, who was like 20th. Matthew Stafford had 7 throwaway passes last year. Jared Goff had 28. Like we're just not. We're not going to be used to that. But we'll get used to it. No need to draft a quarterback right now, unless honestly, unless Trevor Lawrence falls. I don't want Zach Wilson. I don't want Trey Lance. I don't want.
That's not happening.
Exactly. We need to address defense most importantly. But this year, look at this year, and it's like Mika's like the big one. Like Parsons was the one that we could use, but there's a lot of allegations going around about Parsons right now. A lot of them that are gonna have his stock fallen if found like guilty. I guess I would say. I don't know if that's the proper term, but you're gonna see him drop to like the late first, second, third round. It all depends, but. If he comes out with nothing, where he's fine and no allegations, nothing like that, I definitely like Parsons there. But if not, give me wide receiver. Give me Chase or Devonta Smith. Those are the top 3 guys that I want to get. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to trade down. I don't think there is a defensive player,
good call,
other than Parsons that screams like I need Kwity Paye, no thank you. Gregory Rousseau, no thank you. Like what's the linebacker? Osu. I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a huge blank. The other great linebacker, basically, other than the cornerback, Surtain, Caleb Farley, other than those guys, there isn't a defensive presence in the top 10, in my opinion. And we don't need a cornerback. That's like the one position on defense that's like we do need cornerback. We need cornerback depth. But Okudah and Amani are going to be our starters on the side. That's just going to happen. So we don't need to draft a cornerback early. So trade down. Try to get hopefully one of those quarterbacks does fall. Trey Lance is sitting there, and the Redskins come a knocking, or the Saints come a knocking, or the Colts come a knocking, or the Steelers come a knocking, or any of these damn teams that need a quarterback right
Tons
now.
Of them.
So if they come up and we can get a second rounder and a late first rounder, and then have 6 picks in the top 100, or whatever it is, 102, then that's the more the merrier. That's what Brad Holmes is known for. It's what Ray Agnew is known for. That's why we brought them here. They're supposed to be able to scout those deep guys. So I don't need anyone at that 7 pick unless Jamar Chase. And I honestly don't mind Devonta Smith, but even that, I don't know if I want to draft. I'm worried about his size. Maybe I know he looked so good in Alabama. He looked really good against Sean Wade, who's going to be a late second round pick, corner slot, slot corner. I want Jamar Chase, but that's about it. I want to trade back. 100%.
Good call. I like that move.
Yeah, I have you guys trading back for sure. I mean, I originally had you guys drafting a quarterback there, but I don't think a good quarterback will fall, and you guys are definitely in the right place where you see a lot of people like my Niners will probably trade up if they wanted a quarterback that bad. But if
Carolina,
Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain were to fall, I definitely have you guys drafting them for sure because they're both upgrades above Amani.
I disagree. And if we went 2 years in a row drafting a cornerback in the top 10, like the Lions fans would just riot. Like we would flip Ford Field over. It would be interesting, but we'd dig it out. We'd get the foundation, we'd flip it over. I can't see us getting a cornerback. I get what you're saying. Yeah. For me, if Surtain's that, I drafted Surtain, I mocked Surtain in late December. And I really liked the way it looked. The more cornerback depth, the better. But and we have Aaron Glenn as our defensive coordinator, who was a cornerback. You know what I mean? But Amani really did play well. He was a shutdown cornerback last year, outside of a very seldom plays, and he had to be because we didn't have anyone on the opposite side of him. So I would say even any bad play that we see from Amani is due to just being overworked game in and game out. He is the real deal. I will sit here and say Amani will be our starter for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What about pushing Okudah to the slot though too? That could work.
Now that would work. Now that is absolutely where I was, because then you can have him even blitz a little bit more. He is a freaking stout tackler. He was our best tackler last year. And that really could work. Coleman's got to be on his way out. We can shift Okudah there and then get Surtain at that. But man, cornerbacks take so long to develop.
They do.
It's so hard. And unless you're like Marshawn Lattimore, I just don't have the patience for it. And this is why I didn't want Okudah last year. I wanted us to draft Derek Brown over everything, because Derek Brown would have came in and made an immediate impact on a team that needed to be win now. Obviously, we look back and they were terrible and they weren't in win now mode, but they were because the GM and the head coach both knew that they were on their way out. So if you wanted to win right this second, why would you add a cornerback instead of a defender that's going to make an instant impact? Isaiah Simmons, we skipped on. We skipped on so many people to get Okuda. Name the last, like Okuda is the, I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I hope he's really good. I don't know. We're about to get into a whole different tangent, and I don't even want to get into that.
I think you guys are scarred on Auburn defensive lineman with Nick Fairley.
Nick Fairley, exactly. Yeah. You might be right on that, but you got to go back to the well. My dad always told me, you got to go back to the well. If something doesn't work out, don't be afraid to go back and try it again.
There you go.
Moving on to a couple guys that, contracts are expiring. Some guys might be retiring. On the offensive side, you guys got a lot of wide receivers that are, their contracts are coming up. Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, Amendola, and Sanu. Is there one of those guys that you would want to bring back over the others?
Golladay, but
Golladay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would bring back Golladay over everyone, even at a top dollar market.
That's what I was.
26. He's a little on the wrong end, maybe turning 27. But these days, wide receivers are primed from 27 to 31, in my opinion. That's where they really get their hot spot.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So give him, maybe get Jamar Chase on the other side of him. That would be really good. The fact though is, like, I say this, and I got to remember that we got Goff coming in because it's hard for Golladay to get separation. He's better at contested catches, and that's why Stafford just loved to go up to him and throw it up to him. Goff is not going to do that, so it'll be interesting to see. But honestly, no, I'm not even. Man, I'll take a whole new crew of wide receivers next year with Quintez Cephas only, and just go out to free agency, go out to draft. Hopefully, Kadarius Toney falls like the second round. That would be a great pick for us. A guy who could run quick, fast slot routes, and if he keeps his hand, now obviously his hands were very choppy when it came to the Senior Bowl, but in college, he, I believe, only had like 2 drop balls. And the Lions were second in the league behind the Bucks, I believe, in most drop balls last year. And a lot of that, some of that, not a lot of it, but some of it is due to Stafford just like, that motherfucker whips it. Like, he whips it. Even if you're 3 yards away from him, DeAndre Swift, you're getting that ball whipped to your face. It's not going to be like that with Goff. But Goff did have like the 4th most amount of drops for quarterbacks last year, I believe, and Stafford was second. But I'm just saying, no one on that team, like, I love Marvin Jones. I think he's a class act, an amazing human being, very talented for the Lions. But it's just time to it's time to move on from all of them. Amendola would be the only one that I would kind of want to I hope that we bring back outside of Golladay. If we bring back Golladay, I will not be mad. I'll be. But if we don't bring back Golladay, I'll be okay with it as well. But Amendola, because that's what Goff needs. Goff needs a Cooper Kupp. Amendola is way older than Cooper Kupp, not as fast or anything like that. But at least he can be a security blanket, maybe. So
yeah, I feel like there's some slot receivers in this draft that you guys may, draft in the later rounds to help out Goff for sure. But Golladay is who I had you guys coming back.
I just didn't know what the I think he's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid, and we might as well do it. We don't have like a horrible cap situation or anything like that. We got some cap room.
On the defensive side, you guys got Daron Harmon, Jared Davis, Miles Killebrew, Reggie Ragland, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Okwara. I think I said that right. Yep. I think you would pick right now out of those defensive player, Darren Harmon, to come back. But is there anyone else out of that crew you'd want to bring back?
I don't want to bring any of those guys back except for Romeo Okwara. Give me Okwara. Led the team in sacks last year. Really showed a nice jump. He's 26, I believe. He will be a good presence on the side of Flowers. We also just drafted his brother, Julian, last year, who should start to step up. I hate Daron Harmon. I do not like him. I do not want him. Killebrew can stay. I don't mind him, but he's just a special teams depth player. Who was the other guy? Oh, Jared Davis. Most Lions fans would not want him back, but I think he was a problem of the scheme that was implemented, and I think he can have a very Kyle Vanoy-ish type of resurgence, very similar to what we saw with Vanoy in New England and a new scheme. When Jared Davis gets this 4-3 defense and can play more of like a run-stopping defender than having to track left and right, it will be impactful. He dropped a lot of weight, or didn't drop a lot of weight, but dropped a lot of fat last year and gained more muscle mass, and we saw that in a few big blow-up plays. But again, just was in a really terrible defensive scheme run by the worst coach in history on the world's worst defense in the history of the NFL. Like it was just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So give me Davis back on a cheap deal.
Who was the coach for that?
Oh, we don't say it. It's like Voldemort. We don't say his name around here.
Don't say it 3 times. He'll be back.
You'll see him cross behind me.
Moving on to your guys' coaching staff. We know you got Dan Campbell coming in for the head coach. He's coming
Motor
in
City
from New Orleans.
Campbell suit, baby.
Now you guys got some coordinators in there that we did mention. Deuce Staley, he's the assistant head coach. You also got Anthony Lynn, who's coming over from the Chargers, their head coach, and Aaron Glenn, who's also coming over from the Saints to be the defensive coordinator. I kind of want to say outside of Dan Campbell, are you more excited for any of those assistant coaches?
I'm excited for a lot of them. Deuce Staley is the big one, in my opinion. I think he's the ultimate. He's the guy. He could be a head coach next year. Like
he got some hype this year for head coach.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I love to see that, especially with DeAndre Swift. We're going to become more of a run team. That's how Campbell's going to run it. And I doubt Dan Campbell's going to step up here and just let us throw the ball 65 times a game.
Yeah,
it's just not how we're going to run our team. Anthony Lynn is fun. I loved Anthony Lynn on Hard Knocks last year, seeing him smoking his cigar, barbecuing.
It was never lit. That's what bothered me. I was like, dude, light that cigar.
Was it never lit?
It was never lit. It bothered the fuck out of me because me and Duran enjoy a good cigar. I'm like, dude, light that cigar.
I love me a cigar. I actually just got the Shady X, which is Slim Shady, who's also a very big cigar fan. He makes his own cigars. It's called the Shady X. It's a beautiful Nicaraguan. Oh my God, I can't.
Nicaraguan. Yep.
Thank you, leaf with really good filler on the inside. It's not a Churchill, so it's not huge, but it's a small little guy. A torpedo at the end or whatever you say. Shady X. It's awesome. Really good cigar. We just enjoyed it. Yep. I love me some cigars as well. So that's kind of what I liked about Lynn, though. That kind of draws me back a little bit, but I loved Lynn coming over. For me, the big one was Aaron Glenn too. You just saw what he did with the cornerbacks in New Orleans, and talking about rookie cornerbacks that never it takes so long to flourish. You look at New Orleans and they knew what they were doing. They had him coming out immediately playing well. So
safeties and corners.
Safeties and corners. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be fun. He's defensive coordinator now. We'll see how he calls defensive plays. It's one thing to be able to teach cornerbacks as opposed to coming in and you have an offensive-minded head coach, the bunch of offensive-minded people, Deuce Staley, Mark Brunette. We're bringing all these offensive. We did get the Bears linebacking coach, which is good. He might be able to help in the play calling area, but we have a lot of uncertainty when it comes to that defense, and that defense needs the most attention. So I'm most interested in Aaron Glenn, most excited for Deuce Staley when it comes to the opposing people. Or not opposing.
You got
it. That was my next question. Who you're most excited about? It was either Deuce Staley or Mark Brunell in my book. But honestly, Mark Brunell, when I was looking at it, he wasn't really doing much analysis work. So I'm curious to see how he does with the
he was I believe he was the head coach for a high school football team for the last 10 years or something like that. So I'm very interested. This is his first ever NFL coaching gig. So hopefully it works out, but as a Lions fan, I don't have my fingers crossed too hard.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Well, I think that's it for me. I do have 2 just short answer questions. G, do you have anything else you want to ask?
No, man, that was my thing about Mark Brunell. Go ahead.
Okay, these are just quick questions. I'm a Cowboys fan. You're a Lions fan. We both play on Thanksgiving every year. Do you think it's a blessing or a curse because all eyes are on you? And every year I hear from people that aren't even football fans that are just sitting around, with their family watching it. And they're texting me, man, the Cowboys are losing.
We've been through our fair share of terrible Thanksgivings, at least as Lions fans. It's absolutely a blessing. I would cry if we lose our Thanksgiving game, whether we're losing 41-0 or winning 41-0, just to have the Lions on, especially at noon, right when dinner, for us, that's always when food's being served, is about noon, 1 halftime. And so we just sit and eat and watch the Lions. And normally the family will just whether I'm with my wife's family or with my family, or wherever, we will just bullshit at how bad the Lions are, and it's like a gathering point. It's like it's our yearly tradition to like look at the season and think, man, remember when we were 4-1 and we had a chance of making the playoffs? Well, now we're 5-7 and we're losing this Thanksgiving game. Like it's tradition, and I would be so sad if we lost that, whether we win or lose. I love that we have that.
And it's small talk you get to have with the family to kill time. Come on.
Yeah.
And to try to convince like my wife's family to put on like the Cowboys game or any other game would be like impossible. They're like, no, what car is being fixed? And it's like, I don't know, but let's watch some football.
I got one more question. We both had our star receivers with a no catch call. Calvin Johnson with his one hand down on the ground. Des Bryant versus the Packers reaching for the goal line. Do you think both of those were a catch? Neither one were a catch. One was, one wasn't. What do you got there?
I definitely think that both were catches. Calvin Johnson was like absolutely a catch. Like, I mean, come on now. They had a rule named after him.
Yeah.
Des Bryant was a catch, but obviously at the time it wasn't because he did the wrong thing, and that's why Bill Belichick comes out and tells his players, if you lunge at the goal line, you're fine. You will be fine. Do not do it. It is not worth it. He shouldn't have done that. Ultimately, yes, it was a catch. I don't think the NFL did anything wrong by calling it incomplete, honestly, just because that's how the rule was written at the time. But yeah, I mean, he got hosed. But again, I was pretty biased about it, so I was kind of happy it happened. Like, screw the Cowboys. They shouldn't have even been in that situation. It should have been Calvin Johnson's ball that he should have got. We would have lost that game anyway. It didn't matter. But no, they were both catches for sure.
That's it for me, Nick. G.
How about the worst penalty though in NFL when you fumble the ball into the back of the end zone and the other team gets it at the 20-yard line? The most ridiculous penalty of all time.
I don't know about that one. I think there needs to be some type of penalty. So we might get off on a little tangent here, but so what should the rule be? Do you get a first down from the 20? Do you get the same down from the what do you think the alternative should be?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, so I would say you get the ball at the 1-yard line.
Okay, but with a new set of downs, you get a repeat down?
Like it would be like when you fumble the ball forward on special teams, you can't like advance the ball or whatever. If you fumble the ball just forward out of bounds, the ball is where you fumbled it. So I guess if you're at the 2-yard line and you fumble it, or the 3-yard line, right, wherever you fumble the ball, wherever the ball left your possession, you get the ball back, and you like that was a down. Now it's next down. So if that was third down, now it's fourth down.
So say it's fourth down, you're reaching for the goal line, you fumble out the back, the offense takes over at the 1?
Correct. Wherever you fumbled. The opposing team would take over at wherever you fumbled. Yep.
Okay.
That's just my thought. A fun way to go out on the show, end the show.
You got it. Well, Nick, I think that's it, man. G?
Yeah, that's it for me, man. If you want to stick around for a little bit, I know it's a little bit late on your side, but if you want to stick around for a little bit after the show, that'd be great. But look at Duran's background. You want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter. We'll put Nick's. Oh, yeah, I don't know where it's at on your end, Nick, but we'll put all of your information. Follow him on Twitter. Go ahead and follow the podcast Lions Raw. It sounds like an interesting time. I'm definitely gonna smash the follow and like button on his shit. Again, thanks for joining. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, boys.